Well, everyone, good morning. My name is Lucas. I am Brazilian. I'm speaking from Brazil, and I am a psychologist and sex therapist. I work mainly with LGBTQ people. And this topic that we are going to work on today, which is writing and thinking about desire, is something that stems from my practice because I see every day that people tend to have some ability to express the things that pains them, the things that are difficult, their problems. But contrary to what would be expected, since LGBTQ people are so good at describing what hurts, they are frequently they have a lot of difficulty on expressing what they really want. Because our experiences throughout our lives are much more in the sense of toning down our personalities, toning down what we really want. And because of that, we tend to become, uh, to have a lot of difficulty to put into words and put into action what we need and want for ourselves, our desires, our wishes, our dreams, what we want for our relationships. And although this is just a 1 hour workshop, our idea here is to that at the end you go out with, at the very least, one sentence, one piece of creation that allows you to see something that you might not have touched so far. This is a short presentation about myself. I have been working with queer people from the beginning of my career. It was a very intentional choice. I am a gay man. And I don't think that it's exactly why I chose to work with queer people. I feel like we are underserved in a lot of services, in a lot of areas, and it's very important that we fight for not only representation, but having the options of working with people who really understand our struggles, our potentials, the creative things that we are able to do, and who not only helps us with our pain, but actually helps us to create, to become something that might not be expected or that we didn't even imagine that it was possible. There are two people in the waiting room, I think. Okay. And the idea with the workshop that we are going to do today is going to be divided in two parts. We're having two poems, one from Baudelaire and another one from Mary Oliver, two of my favorite poets. And these poems will serve as inspiration to kind of challenge you to think of what might have gone unsaid so far. And then right after the poems, I'm going to offer some short prompts. You don't have to really follow them or answer them. You just consider those like invitations to think about things that you might not have thought about until today. So I'm going to read the poems out loud. I'm going to make some short comment about it. Then I'm going to show you the prompts, and then you will write for about 10 to 15 minutes. I might talk during the time that you will be writing if someone asks a question or if I feel like I have something to add, but mostly you will be able and free to write as you wish. We are not going to have a specific format of writing. I'm not inviting you to write poetry or to write prose. You can write however you want, what sort of material you want. I just want you to try and put into words specifically the things that you might have been postponing to say, even to yourself. That's the idea behind the poetry that I'm bringing as an inspiration and also the prompts that I'm going to offer. If you write one sentence, that's just fine. It doesn't have to be artistic, the way you see it. You don't even have to share it with us if you don't want. But there will be some time at the end for anyone who wants to write to share a line or two about the work. Okay? The first poem is called Get Drunk by Baudelaire. I like this poem very much because although it talks about being inebriated and it brings to mind the idea of alcohol, it's actually not just about that, but actually about fighting the time, fighting the very real fact that we are flattened by time and by the demands of life all the time. I'm going to read it out loud. I would like you to try and pay attention not only to what I'm reading, but what the poem is saying below the words. One must always be drunk. That's all there is to it. It's the only question worth asking. So as not to feel the horrible burden of time breaking your shoulders and bending you toward the earth, you must get drunk without respite. But on what? On wine, on poetry, or on virtue, as you please. But get drunk. And if sometimes on the steps of a palace, on the green grass of a ditch, in the bleak solitude of your room, you wake and the drunkenness has already lessened or vanished, ask the wind, the wave, the star, the bird, the clock, everything that flees, everything that groans, everything that rolls, everything that sings, everything that speaks. Ask them what time it is. And the wind, the wave, the star, the bird, the clock will answer you. It's time to get drunk. So as not to be the martyred slaves of time, get drunk. Get drunk without ceasing, on wine, on poetry, or on virtue, as you please. This poem is not about substance use. It's not about getting literally inebriated, although I'm pretty sure that Baudelaire liked it very much. It is about finding a way to not be defeated by the demands of time, defeated by the demands of adult life, about what society expects of us, and all of these things that make us feel less connected to our lives, less connected to what really feels like us. And the ability to do that is a question of becoming in awe of reality, which is not easy in the times that we are going through. It's especially difficult, I would say, as of now, to look at reality and not only see what's there, but what could be there, to see the potential of our time. And this is a creative effort that I believe that is very worthy. And it's part of what we are going to do here. On the next slide, I'm going to show you some prompts. And as I said, they are just invitations. You don't really have to follow them. And if you feel stuck, if you feel like you have nothing to write about, if you feel like it's difficult to talk about those topics, one thing that always works for me is to write the sentence, I don't know what to write about. And I do that over and over and over. At some point, you will get bored of writing that and you will start writing something else. You can answer the prompts and go from there. You don't have even to consider all of them because I'm going to show you 6. They are just to get you a start up. Just a comment about the poem is that Baudelaire says that the only defense against the weight of time is to stay inebriated with whatever keeps you from being a slave of time. I would like you to keep it in mind. What are the things that keep you inebriated in your day-to-day life? What are the aspects of your life that keeps you in love with reality? And if you don't see it, what could it be? I would suggest that you try to think and perhaps write about a moment in which you felt fully present, ungoverned by caution, or to imagine what would feel like if you never let yourself have this disconnection with the present moment. So, what is your version of drunkenness? What happens when it runs out, and what would it take to stop waiting for it again? The 6 suggestions of prompts are: the thing I keep postponing until I feel ready is, if I stopped waiting for permission. Hello, Washington. I'm going to go back and explain again in a bit, okay? So just bear with me for now. If I stopped waiting for permission, the first thing I do is, there is a kind of aliveness I haven't let myself have yet. It looks like the last time I felt time disappear instead of pressing on me was, I know what I'd stop doing if I believed I had less time than I think. I haven't stopped because something I treat as a reward for later, when it should be something I experience now, is, again, these prompts are provocations. They are a starting point. You don't need to answer them to create whatever material you are going to create. But you can consider them as a starting point to get the ball rolling, so to speak. I'm going to go back in a bit after giving you guys a moment to look at the slides, so that we can look at the poem while we are working, okay? For the people who came just now, oh, I cannot use two screens at the same time. That's great. I'm going to give one more reading of the poem, and then we get back to this page. Get Drunk by Charles Baudelaire. One must always be drunk. That's all there is to it. It's the only question worth asking. So as not to feel the horrible burden of time breaking your shoulders and bending you towards the earth, you must get drunk without respite. But on what? On wine, on poetry, or on virtue, as you please. But get drunk. And if sometimes on the steps of a palace, on the green grass of a ditch, in the bleak solitude of your room, you wake and the drunkenness has already lessened or vanished, ask the wind, the wave, the star, the bird, the clock, everything that flees, everything that groans, everything that rose, everything that sings, everything that speaks. Ask them what time it is, and the wind, the wave, the star, the bird, the clock will answer you. It's time to get drunk, so as not to be martyred, slaves of time. Get drunk without ceasing, on wine, on poetry, or on virtue, as you please. Consider yourselves invited by Baudelaire and by me to look at whatever it is that you might have been desiring, but haven't been in touch with it as much as you could. Desire is a very powerful creative force. And if you allow yourself to touch upon it, you will discover that using this emotional energy, you will be able to shape your life into whatever it is you want to experience. If not with ease, certainly in a much easier way than without connecting with this energy. The prompts are going to stay on the screen. I'm going to give you about 10 to 15 minutes. I will be here all throughout that. You can talk to me, you can ask me questions both on chat or using the microphone. And as I said, there's no specific format for your writing. You could either answer the prompts or ignore them and go in a very different direction right away.
Hi, Z phone.
I Sorry, I snoozed after lunch and yeah, missed the start.
It's all good. Lucas, do you wanna give a
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
person just joined after lunch, so
Oh, okay, of
and we're
course.
on lunch break, so
Okay, I can do a quick recap. Who just arrived? What's your name?
Velko, but I go by Z.
Okay, Z, nice to meet you. I'm gonna explain, give a quick explanation of what we're doing. This is a creative writing workshop. And the idea is that I'm going to share with you two poems and two sets of prompts. The poem will provide inspiration for you to write about what you desire for yourself, for your life, for the way you experience reality. And as an inspiration, the writing prompts are inspired by the poem. And when you have access to the poem that is on screen, I can read it again. And then the prompts, you can either answer the prompts one by one and create something that expresses something you might not have gotten in touch yet about yourself, or you can ignore the prompts completely and just write what comes to you around the inspiration created by the poem. So I'm going to read the poem again, which I think is good for everyone who is writing, because after all, it's Baudelaire. It's a very inspiring poem. And then I'm going to show you the prompts again. Get Drunk by Charles Baudelaire. One must always be drunk. That's all there is to it. It's the only question worth asking. so as not to feel the horrible burden of time, breaking your shoulders and bending you toward the earth. You must get drunk without respite. But on what? On wine, on poetry, or on virtue, as you please. But get drunk. And if sometimes on the steps of a palace, on the green grass of a ditch, in the bleak solitude of your room, you wake and the drunkenness has already lessened or vanished, ask the wind, the wave, the star, the bird, the clock, everything that flees, everything that groans, everything that rolls, everything that sings, everything that speaks. Ask them what time it is, and the wind, the wave, the star, the bird, the clock will answer you. It is time to get drunk, so as not to be martyred slaves of time. Get drunk without ceasing, on wine, on poetry, or on virtue, as you please.
Nice.
These
Thank
are
you.
the 6 prompts, okay? And you can use them however you wish. I wish I had thought of a way to show the poem and the prompts on the same screen, but I just didn't have space when I was creating the presentation. I thought that it was too cluttered, but now I see I should have thought of that. If anyone has arrived just now and is feeling a little lost, just let me know, and I don't mind giving you a quick explanation, okay? Five more minutes, everyone. The ones who have started working just now, don't worry. When we move on to the next block, you still have plenty of time to continue your work. You don't have to stop. Just in a few minutes, we're going to start kind of discussing what we've written. You don't have to share what you've written if you don't want to. It's completely optional. You guys think we can move on to the next poem? You feel that you could even continue writing because I intentionally chose two poems that have a conversation amongst them. Of course, Baudelaire and Mary Oliver are very different poets, but I chose two pieces that continue this theme of exploring what you want and your connection to present and to your desire. This is actually my very favorite poem by Mary Oliver. She was a poet of nature, so her work is filled with uh, observations about animals and landscapes. And she always found a way to see not only at the landscapes and nature, but actually through it to bigger pieces of truth that she could glimpse from looking at nature. And Mary Oliver was a lesbian. She lived her whole life with her wife, and in my view, this poem specifically talks about the queer experience, the shame, the difficulty to accept your own desire, and whilst I think that the other poem from Baudelaire is very powerful in its invitation of being drunk with life. I believe that this one goes further because it talks about not having to apologize for being who you are. Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I'll tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Mm.
As I said, this is my favorite poem. I think it has a lot of beautiful highlights. The part about walking on your knees in the desert, repenting, in my interpretation, it talks about the queer experience of feeling like we have to, especially in the first few years of seeing yourself of a queer person, feeling that we have to shame ourselves in trying to become something we are not. Whether it's becoming straight or denying your gender identity, this process of trying to repent what we feel and what we are is a very central part of the queer experience. And when she talks about letting the soft animal of your body love what it loves, I think this is a beautiful way of expressing the fact that a very real part of being who we are as queer people is respecting whatever it is that our bodies want from us, want from life, wants to express. The soft animal of your body. Then she, at the very end, she says that whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Here she creates this parallel that not only the nature that she has been describing is part of the whole picture, but also all of us are part of this whole picture. The prompts are The desire I learned to apologize for before I even named it is. My body knows something about pleasure my mind still argues with. What it knows is the kind of touch, connection, or attention I actually want, not the one I perform wanting, is. There is a longing I keep translating into a more acceptable want. The original one is. If my body could speak without needing to justify itself, the first thing it would say is a pleasure I've had and minimized, called it small or called it nothing, is. Feel free to use the prompts however you want. It's perfectly fine to combine or continue writing what you wrote about the first poem. The idea is just to put into words things that so far might have been silent. Please feel free to start.
How much time do we have?
About 10 minutes. But as this is not supposed to be kind of a finished work, okay, so it's much more flexible than that. I'm just actually controlling the time that we have together. Bye bye, Josh. Is there anyone who would like to share part of or all of the work that you have done so far? No. I have some Brazilian acquaintances here, so I understand that sharing in English might be additional challenge. But if anyone wants to write, even on chat, I will be very glad. Okay. I'm gonna read what Joss McCain has shared before he left. I think it was beautiful. He shared with us about the prompt one. I'm sitting on David Wojnarok's face. I have no idea who he is, but I'm pretty sure he knows. Waiting for someone to ask me what I already know, what I already feel, and then say with enthusiasm, I know, right? The full weight of barebacked reality. Trick and treats that trick tricksters. This is a tongue twister. Nothing is needed when everything is felt, solely and solidly sober. To look God in the face and say, what the fuck? Is that all there is? Is that all there is to eat? Promptitude, the family of things and things are thinking. Thinking on your knees, begging for what you need, and asking strangers for them. Asking is not getting. Getting is not receiving. Receiving is asking with your soft hand open. I think it's just beautiful. And if anyone wants to share some of what you've written in the chat, I can read it out loud, okay? If that's more comfortable for all of you. Anyone? Okay, I can wait. Art says in the chat that they realize that while writing, their biggest thing is not the other, but their deeper self who is blocking their desire. I'm very glad that you were able to realize that. And I think it's a universal truth, but the fact that it's so universal doesn't mean that it's easy to overcome. And I believe that in a way, the more we look at desire, the more we look about how it moves within us. And again, desire is not necessarily about sex. I would even go so far as to say that it's not about sex at all. It's about connecting with life, connecting with experience. Life experience is a very sensual connection to the world. And when we allow ourselves to actually touch it, to be with it, to be present with this desire for life, we might start releasing the desire instead of just unblocking it. Releasing it as a creative force into the world. Thank you so much for sharing this. I think it's very powerful. Sheila says, the truth I learned to silence before I even understood it is my body remembers I kind of ease, my mind still tries to earn. What remember is the kind of closeness. Oh, sorry, I have to understand the structure, sorry. Sheila, okay, I'm gonna read the entire thing, okay? The truth I learned to silence before I even understood it is my body remembers a kind of ease my mind still tries to earn. What it remember is the kind of closeness I crave, not the one I pretend to need is. There is a yearning I keep reshaping into something safer. The first shape it took was if my body could speak without fear or apology, the first thing it would whisper is, this is powerful. I like it. Thank you. I always love creative writing because you guys always take the material and you kind of look at it in a different way and it becomes so much bigger, so much more powerful. Someone shared the link. Oh, okay. Let me read it. This is Z's creation. It says, this will be gone in a year. We will be elsewhere and likely not just us. I will be also someone else. This might be saved, but also lost with care for now. Oh, you guys can write. That's wonderful. Washington, would you like to share? Chris?
Can I read mine out?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so it's just two sentences. Um so there's a part of me that sometimes wants to disappear for a while, not because I want to escape my life, but because I want to feel completely untethered. I don't want to escape my life. I think I just want to escape the feeling that every hour has to be accounted for.
Thank you. I actually wrote something very similar. Thank you, Chris. Is there anyone who would like to share before we wrap up?
I have something. It's not done though. Like it's almost there. I just need one more minute.
Okay, feel free. See if there's something in the chat. Oh, I'm glad it was noisy. Anyone who needs to speak, you don't even have to raise your hand, okay? Just open your mic and share.
Oh, hi, Lucas.
Hi, who am I talking to?
Sheila.
Hi,
Sorry,
Sheila.
I'm in a mess. I'm working on so many things, but I love your class has been so great. It has, wow, it's so inspiring. I love poetry. I love writings. Wow, it's amazing. Thanks for everything. That's what I just wanted to appreciate your work.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much. That's very
Yes.
kind.
Yeah.
Feel free to follow me on Instagram or just get my contacts. I think it's still showing on the screen. It would be
Yeah,
lovely
yeah.
to keep in touch with you.
That'd be great. That would be great.
Have a wonderful weekend, Sheila.
Same to you.
I'm gonna read your work, Washington. I have wakened. I keep putting off the freedom to be myself, to explore the full potential of my sensitivity, to dramatize my own story, and turn my thoughts and feelings into reality, whatever they may be. Okay, stop waiting for that perfect moment. Just be yourself. Speak about your feelings. Fight for them to have space if necessary. Make mistakes once, twice, three times until you master the subjective art of bringing your inner world out into the world around you. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I know I was expected to comment on your creations, but actually they make me, reflexive, and then I stay in my head. I'm sorry. I love how your different writings, they speak the same language as the poets, but at the same time they use different words, different vocabulary. Yes, art. Yes, exactly. We see the work from the poets. Of course, the work echoes bigger truths about reality, but the way that you guys reword it makes so much sense to me. It's like it's part of the work from the poets. Oh, so what's your name again? I because it doesn't show your name in the
Christoph.
Crystal. Okay. I am the monster I run away from. The horns, the hooves, the dirt, the smell of dirty, dragging the dark forest behind me, offering nothing but the mountain, nothing but the fear of sleeping under the night sky with the stars heavy, hanging by a thread. A sharp breath can crash you, lest you stop running, fall on your knees, scrapes and all, then crawl under the bed and reemerge anew. A monster in your own right, half human, but half not. Very nice. There is even some alliteration here. Very good. Well, guys, you are really very good writers. I'm very glad. Thank you. I'm certainly gonna save this chat with all this beautiful work that you guys have shared. So, guys, would you like to share more of your work or perhaps some observation or things that you have thought out throughout the work that we've done today?
Well,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
Please.
What I said in the chat, it's really nice to see all the persons from all over the world having same kind of experiences in such another words. And when I was writing, I thought, oh, can I do this? Is this okay? Is this what I want to say? And with reading the other reactions, I really, yeah, that's something going. Something started in me. So I think I have some few hours more to write more about it. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I always like to remember myself that the sheet of paper in front of me is much kinder than myself. I
Yeah,
have lots of thoughts and lots of judgments about, what goes through my head or what I might write, but the sheet of paper is not judging me. It's not even talking back. It's just
that's a good
listening.
one.
So this always helps me because uh, it doesn't matter if I think that what I'm writing is not good enough. The paper will still accept it. Always remember that writing is gentle. Writing is freeing because you can write whatever you want. We cannot always do whatever we want, but we can always write whatever we want. I invite you guys to follow me on social media, all of that boring things, you are very used to it. And it will be a pleasure to share moments like this with you guys whenever you need. And if later you want to share, in private, just message me how you felt about this moment. It has been a wonderful privilege. And thank you for spending some time with me.
Thank you so much, Lucas. It was incredible. Great workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, I need to return back from my vulnerability back into my my presenting face. So hold on a second. Let me just Lucas, I'm gonna remove. Do you want to stop recording?
Yes, let me